Hey there, it's Ed O'Keefe, and I'm going to walk you through how to get a flood of health customers every single month selling superfoods, bars, proteins, supplements, or even books, Facebook groups, whatever it is that you do, doing one core thing. Now, this is top secret, and what I mean by that is this literally my goal today is to share with you like what 1% know that 99% don't, and how you can grow your successful business to multiple seven or eight figures while also building a dream life. Now, it doesn't matter whether you sell supplements, foods, proteins, powders, keto, paleo, low carb, or any other fitness products. I'm going to show you today how to grow any of those things. Plus, if I didn't even mention it, if it's in the health, fitness, nutrition business, trust me, we've sold it, or we have clients doing it every single day right now. And the goal is we want to show you in this presentation. This is a short presentation, probably about 45 minutes long, not like those long 3-hour webinars, which I've done. But the goal today is to show you like what is literally working right now. And so briefly, if you give me just a moment, I want to tell you who I am. This is the part I think where I'm supposed to brag about how awesome I am. But humbly, let me just tell you this. I'm a father of 7. I'm an author, serial entrepreneur. I've been doing this for over 17 years. An investor in a food company, as well as my own supplement company. And I still consider myself to be an athlete and a coach, and been coaching volleyball for 20 plus years, and just love training and developing entrepreneurs as well. So this is one of my finest moments. It was a 52-hour Hell Week experience, mini Hell Week experience. If you've heard of it, it's Kokoro Camp, and I obviously share that with you to show you how cool I look. But this was about 28 hours into the event, and I'll tell you more about that a little bit later. Over the past 9 years, my self-funded company has sold over 700,000 bottles and counting. We still sell many every single day without any experience in the nutrition or health field. So if you're like me, or you're coming from the marketing background like I did, you could probably relate to that, where cash flow is extremely important when we run our own businesses and grow from scratch. And I also lead a group of high-performing marketers in the health, fitness, and nutrition business, as well as I'm an advisor and investor to a fast-growing food company, which I'll tell you more about a little bit later. Now, just so you know who I am, this is a Facebook ad I wrote, and here's some nice things people said. Ed's a true example of how to create an environment, blah, 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 that feeds each other. Ed's an amazing teacher as well as a great practitioner. So these are the things. I'll let you look at them later. It's a little self-indulging, so I won't go too far into it. But one thing that I will show you in this group, or in this training, is kind of why something that Sean said, which is being in Ed's mastermind has not only shaved 5.5 years off my learning curve, but I've met some invaluable people as well as who are creating true tangible impacts and value in the world. Now, this is really important. I want to share this with you because what this presentation today is about is shaving time off your learning curve and getting you to where you want to be. And I'll show you like one quick example as to why things can happen much faster than even we think is possible. Is recently we just ran a campaign for the company I was telling you about, where we spent $864,000 and made $1,678,344, and our cost to acquire a customer was $20.46. And there was over 42,282 website purchases. That was in a 61-day window, and it was selling superfood products. So what's awesome about that is that no matter where you're at and whatever challenges that you think you have when you're growing your business, trust me, I've been there, still encounter them on a daily basis. So you're not alone. And I share all of this because medias might change, products can change, the economy definitely will change, but it only takes a few fundamentals that are focused on to generate customers at will as you take your business to the next level. Now, let me just pause for just a brief moment and tell you who this training is for today, so you know whether you are in the right place or not. This is definitely not for newbies, what we're going to talk about today. This is a training for people that are already successful or already having the momentum and putting up numbers, and they need some guidance with clarity, focus, and how to take it to the next level. Because our goal today is to show you how to 2x to 10x your business by simplifying and creating clarity. And all these examples are based on what I've personally done I'm doing, or my team's doing, or companies I'm involved with are doing, and or helping other clients to do. And what is going to take, what it's going to take to get your next level of goals to multiple seven figures and multiple eight figures and beyond. Now, let me just give you one little quick disclaimer. This is kind of like the whole thing. Like, my results might not be the same as yours. You don't know me. I don't know you. And so whether or not you do anything with any of this stuff, I have no idea. So I hope you do. I hope you go crush it and put a ton of money in your bank account. And but what I will say is that this really does give you a competitive advantage, because most people won't do any of this. At the last training we did, someone asked me, like, well, Ed, why do you teach? And I'm like, well, first of all, I love teaching. But number two is, when all my speakers come and speak at any of our events, or if I bring any guest speakers, I literally tell them that their job is to bring the black belt level stuff, like stuff that most people are afraid to share in public settings. And the belief system is that most people don't do anything with what they're given. So that's kind of where I come from. And the really good news with this is, not only I'm not going to sugarcoat anything, I'm not going to give any fluff. And I've been in this health supplement business for literally over nine plus years. And there's literally, I can honestly tell you that there's never been a better time to be advertising on like Facebook, YouTube, using Instagram and other media channels. I mean, even email, Google Display Network, Google Search Network, and even direct mail to follow up with customers. This is a really, really good time of life, and I've told you before, whether you sell supplements, keto, foods, powders, fitness products, no matter what anyone tells you. So if you have any mental garbage that's telling you that you're not hitting your goals because of different reasons, let me just tell you flatly that you can. And the hardest part for me at each stage of growth and growing business and growing the health supplement business, and now being involved with a food company, and then now also looking at creating a line of superfoods and just different, helping different clients. The greatest, most difficult part, the greatest difficulty and the hardest part for me at each stage was knowing what to focus on and how to strategically grow the business profitably. It just was hard, like when we grew from 200,000 to 1.7 million a month, and I'll tell you in a little bit, like exactly what we did. Everybody, like all of a sudden wanted something from me. It was a weird experience, the first year and a half when I was growing the business to just get to 200K a month. It's like I had to fight to get people to mail for me, like, or to even acknowledge that I was in the business and I was okay and they could promote us and stuff, because everyone was on their own little bubble. And then all of a sudden, guess what? We got the offer to the sales process to work, which I'll talk to you more about today. And all of a sudden, everyone wanted something from me. And I went from being like in my own little silo where I was doing some really, really good stuff to feeling like I was being pulled in every single direction, and I didn't know which way to turn. Or do you create more products? And I'll talk about all this stuff here in a little bit, but would you do more traffic sources? Do you have more affiliates? Do you, test something else? And I got to tell you, like, no matter, when I look back on all my experiences and even today, the most important thing that you can do in your business, if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling like you're trying to grow this business, but you're hitting a plateau, is that there's always one thing that will move the needle, okay? And it doesn't matter which stage of growth you're at. And in some of our trainings, we go deeper into this, but let me just tell you a little quickly. In the $250 to $1 million range, one of the biggest challenges you usually have is cash flow and knowing where to focus. And so one of the big things here is definitely to keep focusing on your conversion rate, add a few more products that are really directed towards your number one customer, and you move to this next level and you start having other issues, right? And then you go to this level and you have a whole different set of issues. So let me just kind of walk you through a few of these things. Is that because things can go wrong, right? And so the ongoing offer conversion system and funnel creation, right? Cash flow and profitability. Sometimes growth doesn't mean profitability, and this is confusing, and it was very confusing for me for a long time. When to add more products or product lines, Do you go deeper with your targeting of your customer, or do you expand your targets? And then the last one, obviously, as you start growing, you got team, you have goals, controls, and rhythms, meetings, and all that fun stuff. And without clarity on each of these issues, for me, anyhow, I'll speak for me, is I not only lost money during that time frame, I also lost profitability, and even worse, though, more importantly, we lose time, right, guys? I mean, this is literally in my opinion, the most important part. And sometimes it's not literal time, but if you're with the family and you're thinking about cash flow, there's nothing worse than that feeling. And if you don't have a feeling of certainty, then you don't have hope. And sometimes when you go through this phases alone, especially, it's kind of embarrassing. You think you're the only person who's ever gone through the problem. It's not true. And from the outside looking in, people say, "Oh wow, he or she's really successful," and you are. You're just in the game called business, right? It's just that simple. And the other thing about this too is that during this phase, you got to this phase because you were focused and you had priorities. And then tell me if you can relate to this. You write your goals, you prioritize, you're so excited for the day. And then like for me, like my priorities in the morning are, I'll just go back to like my priorities are, I get the kids off to school, I get a workout in, I get up an hour before the kids, I kind of skip that part. That's where like I'll pray, I'll go get coffee, I'll think about the day, what is something I'm grateful for, I'll do kind of that little process. And then so really, I don't get back in my chair till about 10:30 after I train, and I sit down, and usually I have a list of things that are in priority, things to do. Now, I haven't said anything that is groundbreaking, right? Like you've heard this from like Tony Robbins, Brian Tracy, all these amazing leaders and speakers, but there's nothing that can ruin my day or put me off track more than getting somebody else's level 3 priority thrown on my number 1 priority, and then all of a sudden I have to deal with those problems, right? And now you spend the whole day solving other priorities rather than focusing and driving your business to your future vision, right? Now, the problem right here is that you've probably just fallen into the trap that all of us do, which is you have too much stuff going on. And when growing the business, these things pile up so easily. And a lot of times, like especially when I first started my original business, when I was single, before I had kids, all those things, like I was willing to work 14 hours a day, 12 hours a day. I was willing to do things, do the extra thing. And frankly, I'm just I don't have the time anymore. Like it's just not, it's like literally the kids are coming home. We got stuff to do. We got games, we got practices. I want to be a part of that, right? And then when you start getting hammered with too much stuff, one of the things it does is throw us in reaction mode. And, every day can go by, and next thing you know, you're not hitting your most important priorities. And then we are stressed and overwhelmed. And when that happens, the biggest, and the reason why this prevents you from growing is your body will go into fight and flight. And when that happens, fight or flight, when that happens, you don't have the creativity, the ability to relax and to solve problems like you normally would. And what ends up happening is you end up being paralyzed with the situation. Can you relate to this at all? I mean, this is me sharing kind of my matrix in something that I see with many of the entrepreneurs I work with, specifically on their business. And one of the things that I'll share with you, and I identify with them, is that it's usually because they're still focusing on what I call stage 1, which is 0 to like say 100K, like literally just getting the business off the ground behavior. And during stage 1, you kind of have to do everything. You kind of have to be involved with everything. You kind of have to be the one writing each email subject line, each email, each headline, split testing, all those things. And or you put somebody involved, now you're managing them, trying to manage that. So, but the one big thing is if you're on this training and you already are moving, you already have momentum, the big lesson here is what got you here won't get you there. And what's really important here is, I'm going to go back to this 52-hour mini Hell Week experience, is that this journey of going from your goals to where you, like from where we currently are to where you want to be, the big distinction that I want to talk about is you need to know the difference between courage and confidence. You need to know understand the difference between confidence and courage when it comes to your business. So let me give you a quick story here. So Mark Divine, Commander Mark Divine, who ran this training, right? One of the things he said was that if you leave a door open to quit, or if you leave a door open that will have you doing easier things, you will find it, okay? And this is a big distinction, because for you to take your business to the next level, you got to understand that it's going to require courage. Now, let me explain this, right? If you're listening to this, you're probably a really confident person. You've figured out you're a problem solver, obviously. You've figured out how to create value, learn skill sets. But confidence comes by looking at what you've done in the past and knowing you can do it again in the future. It's a really important skill set. It's extremely important. So please understand, I'm not dismissing it at all. But what I'm saying is courage is so misunderstood when it comes to becoming an adult and becoming an entrepreneur. And courage is when you view the future and it has uncertainty, it's unclear, but you move forward anyway. And this is probably the most important part, is that you impose your vision. Let me talk about that briefly. When you impose your vision, you make the priority that you have deemed the priority, which we always there's a longer process here, but what we look at is what, the life, the family, the health, all those, the money, in that kind of priority sequence, and that has to be first, and then the processes to get us there are the key fundamentals that we focus on. But guess what, guys? No one else knows your vision like you do, and they will do everything to take you off your vision, and they do it in an unknowingly way. They're not trying to hurt you or do anything wrong. They're just being themselves. They're actually probably trying to help you, okay? And what ends up looking like is you got the present moment, and you got all these problems and all these items that you have to deal with on a daily basis. And so what I'd like to kind of share with you is that the present moment, to get you from the present moment to the future vision, we have to take what's called, and I know this might be oversimplification, but I want to help you with something, is we have to put simplicity into the business. And the way simplicity starts is we ask, what is your one thing to focus on right now, that if we achieve the one thing, everything else gets easier in your life? And it all starts with like clarity and alignment of your one main core process. And so what I like doing is breaking this down to show people, every time it's in either my own business or with any of my clients, the first thing we look at immediately to create simplicity and more profits, because you'll see how this comes full circle to driving profits into your business, is in improving the targeting and or expansion of your ideal level 10 customer. Number two is a level 10 solution to their biggest pain, needs, or desires. And then the third thing is a level 10 profit and cash flow. Now, obviously, on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 is the best. So what we're searching for here is nailing these each category as much as possible. And when we do that, what happens is all the complexities fall into place, okay? Your ideal market, your product line, your media channels, cash flow, team, everything actually starts solving itself. And for example, if we start with who your ideal level 10 customer is, and then we work from there, all the answers get easier and easier as you go on. And a lot of my clients, when I dig into their solution, they have phenomenal solutions. The fact of the matter is they're just not either A, targeting the right person, the right one person, and then go find millions of people like that, or they're not communicating the level 10 solution that they can provide. And the third one is pretty obvious, but it's many times not, is a level 10 profit and cash flow. So they're doing things, they're making sales, but their margins are off, and or their pricing is wrong. So their cash flow is really, really tight. So we focus on that. And the biggest thing here, fellas, is that we want to automate these vital few things. And then when you automate that vital few processes, everything gets easier. Let me just give you an example. So when I was running the early days of like Marine Essentials, it took me about a year and a half. to get up to like 200,000 a month online. And you got to remember this. It kind of goes back. Right? We started off in direct mail, moved online, and then I was optimizing, and where I was at was I could barely break even at acquisition of a customer. And so while that's very positive, we were trying to grow kind of too fast, and so our cash flow was poor. And then my virtual CFO told me, he's like, Ed, you really got to fix something, or else you're really pretty much out of money. And what I did was I went to the solution that my customers were telling me that this was solving. I wasn't even solving their biggest pain. I had to look at what they were telling me the product was doing for them. And then number two is I went and I looked over at the targeting of this. So the solution that they told me that they were getting, it was lowering their blood pressure at the time. It made me crystallize the messaging to a different customer. And then that increased conversion rates. And then what we did on the cash flow and profit side is I tried something really unique and different as I offered 6 more bottles on the upsell, and we had a 22% conversion rate. So the end result was in a matter of just a couple days of changing those couple things, guys, I went from doing $150 per sale to over $230 average order. And that dramatically changed my cash flow. It dramatically changed our profitability, and it was pretty darn awesome. And so case study number 2 is we just generated 42,000 customers for a fast-growing food brand at a 1.9 return on ad spend in the last in just 61 days. And this Excel sheet, I'm just showing you one snippet of it. It's private information, like the whole Excel sheet, but I can show you this. This is what the results were of their return on ad spend. I mean, they were getting a 0.49. So that means for every dollar they were spending, they were generating 49 cents back. In this case, 0.77, 0.57. So that's how negative they were going. So we took over their ad account for this food company, and the numbers right there. They spent $1,100. They made $3,000 back the day before we took it over. Now that might sound good, but here's the deal: that was only retargeting ads that they just had on autopilot going. In the first 5 days, we took over, spent $17,690, and generated $52,000. That was 1,231 customers. This is almost a 3-to-1 return ad spend. In 14 days, we were at $99,000 ad spend and $239,000 in conversions, or in revenue, 2.41 return ad spend, and almost 6,000 sales. In 3 weeks, we spent $198,000, generated $414,000. So in a recent 30-day window, we spent $444,000, generated 20,239 customers at a 1.8 return ad spend, and that is $800,000 in revenue. How did we do it? Well, it's simple. We used a couple things. I'll talk a little bit more about it, but we just lined up their level 10 customer who they didn't even realize they had, and gave them a solution. And we, by doing a couple things, we were able to improve the cash flow. So let me explain this. So one of the key things they weren't doing, and this is a tip if you didn't know this, is that they were running Facebook and Instagram ads in the same ad account, or ad campaign, I'm sorry. And so we broke those apart and ran those separately. We then separated male versus female, age, geography, and this is really important. Most people don't realize it when you're trying to scale, is that some states in some areas just don't convert well. You can get rid of them, improves your profitability right away. Built up new lookalike audiences, new custom audiences, and retargeting audiences. This was huge for us. And then with their pain problem, we looked at the creatives. And this is like a little ninja tip I'll give you, is that whenever I'm looking at how do we scale something, I will look at creatives. Like, what were the creatives that worked the best, and what products have the best repurchase rate, okay? And then the other thing you could do is look at engagement levels with content. That's not something huge we did there, but that's definitely a strategy you can use. And then this was kind of what we did on the cash flow side, but I will tell you this. One thing is, if you have a winner, you have to do anything in your power to get more ad spend. And you could do this by raising your budgets, getting multiple ad accounts, and then there's something specifically we did on a daily basis where we would spend more on the winners that day and pause the losers. And you may be saying, like, well, Ed, that's cool, but that's your business is different than mine, right? Well, because I just gave you a supplement and I just gave you a food business. So let's look at something different. Let's look at a case study that my buddy Nick Shackelford presented at our latest event, where he shared how they spent $1,371,921, and their return was $5,486,121. That's a 4 times return on ad spend, and that was in a 5-week period. Pretty amazing, right? These are real screenshots. Now, the craziest thing about it is they were in the socks business, selling pup socks, which we had the owner of the company speaking as well. Let me look at another one, okay? So Josh Elizetsky was speaking at our event as well. Super amazing guy to all my platinum clients. And he has a teeth whitening business that is FDA approved. And look what he did. He got all these influencers. That's Gronkowski. That's Chuck Liddell, if you don't know. And this is Miss Universe 2018. And he's using Facebook ads, right? And that's how he's growing it. And they're doing it very, very successfully. And Detox Superfoods, here we go. This is his other company where they're selling a protein detox supplement. So if you look at it, and it's my buddy Tom Dilara. Tom does a ton of videos like for Six Pack Abs, Six Pack Science. They just came out with a keto product. And it's pretty amazing, right? So no matter what you're selling, I absolutely guarantee that you could do the same. Because here's the deal. This isn't rocket science. And whether you are a beginner, intermediate, or advanced, even though I know this presentation is for intermediate and advanced, this stuff works, right? You can do it. It doesn't matter if you're doing supplements, which that ad, by the way, kills it on Facebook. It doesn't matter if you're doing a detox formula or socks or teeth whitening. The fact of the matter is that, like our good friends Danette May and Craig Collins, who they're selling a 3-day cleanse right here. This stuff works, okay? You just got to know who your client is, right? So now more good news is every example and case study that I've shown you actually comes directly from people who spoke at my Traffic Mastery event in Atlanta, where attendees paid $5,000 to attend. My platinum members were absolutely free, which means I have the recordings, the transcripts, their examples. Even better, there were 13 other ridiculously successful online entrepreneurs, traffic experts that were there as well, and 90% of them were in the health market. Now, the best part is, I'm going to tell you in a second how you can get the 2-day Traffic Mastery Atlanta recordings absolutely free. Just stick with me for one more moment because I'm going to walk you through what that all entails. Because you'll notice how each of these speakers' strategies and people I bring into my events will fall into one of the 3 buckets we've been discussing this entire presentation. So I brought in the world's best Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, native media buyers, and all-around traffic generators for a 2-day health, fitness, and nutrition marketing intensive. It didn't matter whether you sold supplements, foods, proteins, powders, whether you're keto, paleo, low carb, or any other fitness products. It literally was off the hook. Every guest speaker that spoke there were in the trenches, proven big-time media buyers. They only gave action-packed materials that you could apply right away. There was like a rule, which meant no fluff, no hype, no theory at all. Just 100% proven, tested, and up-to-date material. You will get the in the trenches, proven examples, templates, step-by-step strategies that will work immediately. And so let me walk through a few of the people who spoke. My first was co-host Jesse Itzler. Now, many of you might know Jesse, and you may say, like, Ed, Jesse doesn't drive traffic. Well, he doesn't drive traffic, but you're right. He was the guy who raised $13 million for Zico coconut water, and he helped sell it to Coca-Cola 2 years later. He's also the guy who discovered the founder of No Foods and helped raise another $12 million to get it started for fast and rapid growth. And before Zico and No Foods, he started a private jet company that collectively did over $5 billion in sales before selling to Warren Buffett's company NetJets years later. So you'll get to hear one of his private keynotes that we did actually at Spanx headquarters. The second speaker I had was Ezra Firestone. Now, Ezra is extremely well known inside the online marketing world, and he is a co-founder of Boom by Cindy Joseph, cosmetic and anti-aging line. Ezra's team literally has taken the brand by Cindy Joseph from literally zero to now over 20 million a year, and they have no plans of slowing down. You'll get literally the template that he uses to not only grow his brand using both direct response marketing and a combination of branding using Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Google Display Network. How to integrate Facebook Messenger in your funnel, your store, and in retargeting to capture immediate sales and build a strong relationship. And the magic of Facebook video ads for celebrity style businesses like Boom, as well as product driven brands, plus much, much more. People were blown away by Ezra, as they should be. How to optimize 50 million a year on Facebook advertising. This was by CEO Jason Kursky from Strawhouse Media. Jason's amazing. And he walked us through a formula that he uses at Strawhouse with every single advertiser that they work with. That's a very interesting mathematical formula that allows you to scale your spend very, very quickly. And it's worked so well that his company has grown by 3,034% in the past 2 years to well over $50 million a year. And he was just really a great guy to have around and to share with the audience. Speaker number 4, James Van Elswick. Now, James was not only on the panel, but he spoke twice. And he's the CEO of Purple Leads, amazing guy, speaking about how to rapidly scale Facebook from $0 to $25,000 a day, as well as to talk about native advertising, how to set and forget your traffic sources using native while also scaling. Now, what was cool about this was that it's very timely, especially with Facebook being tough for some advertisers. Native advertising is a great place that if you're an e-com or you're driving traffic to your store through Facebook or other sources, native advertising is one of the best ones to also be testing out. His biggest day reached over 100,000, and he continues to spend big and earn big on both native and Facebook ads. I mean, he's literally spending millions a month on all these platforms. So he was awesome to have with us, and you'll have an opportunity to see him again. Speaker number 5, Tom Dilara. Now, if you've seen any of these videos before, that is Tom Dilara. Tom's a good friend of mine, and he spoke about the magic of influence and sales architecture using video. The secret to creating better long-term value customers. And he had a really interesting formula on this. So he talked about awareness videos versus call to action videos and versus follow-up videos. Very, 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 very good stuff. Speaker number 6, Google Display Network, Google Shopping, and YouTube expert Brett Curry. Now, Brett has me beat in one category. He has 8 kids. I have 7. So Brett's an amazing guy, and he talked about the low-hanging fruit system. And right now, if you are selling on Facebook, or if you're selling products at all, there's ways you can add remarketing on YouTube immediately that will generate phenomenal return on ad spends. And he shows exactly how to do top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel, and he'll show you exactly how you can do this with little risk. So it was pretty amazing. Now here's my buddy Jeff Usner. Jeff is amazing. He showed how to use push notifications to add $3,000 to $10,000 a day using push notifications. Now, Jeff, if you've been around me for a while, which many of you might not have, he's spoken at past events of mine where he generates over 70,000 leads a day. I think it's 70 million. I'll have to change that. From Facebook, direct site buys, co-op, and affiliate marketing. He is literally one of the brightest media buyers that I know. And everybody was blown away about the advancements in push notifications. And so you can have access to that immediately. Speaker number 8, my good friend Ryan Skelly. Now, how to spend $15,000 to $25,000 a day running straight to an e-commerce store with a health product. This is probably one of the biggest revelations that has come my way through testing is that if you have a store, you could drive traffic with a good Facebook video ad straight to the store. You don't have to get confused with all these complicated funnels. Speakers number 9. It's Ross and Rachel. They are from Trill Media. They had a great presentation on how to create highly leverageable influencer relationships to promote your brand. And that is probably one of the biggest trends I'm seeing now that is working across the board for any consumer products. Rick Steele, the main man, he shared his story of going from 888,000 in the first year to over 100 million in just 10 years while completely disrupting a gigantic market. Now, he walked us all through big picture branding process and how you bring it all together with paid advertising, PPC, affiliate marketing, radio, etc. It doesn't matter, but he has a certain system and process that he uses to make sure that all the messaging is consistent throughout each channel to scale a business to many, many levels. Rick's also a completely badass athlete, great family man, great dad, and a good friend of mine. And he talked a lot about um, well, he talked a lot about scaling, and so just by listening to his presentation in this closed environment, you'll see him say things about scaling and growing your business. It will definitely expand your mind and help you grow something pretty powerful. David Turner, this guy owns Tyler. He bought Tyler Perry's mansion, and just simply because we were in Atlanta, he came in and did a phenomenal presentation about how he grew his business, how he sold it, and he called it a different perspective. Now, I'm not going to go deep into that. It was not about traffic, but it was about shifting your thought process about being an entrepreneur in order to have unparalleled uh, experiences, right? So then we did a panel round. If I tell you, I'd have to kill you a panel. And this, you had Tommy Powers, you had Brett Lane, you had Nick Shackelford. Nick was just I spoke with about him earlier. Esther Kiss, and then Josh Elizetsky. Josh is a complete beast. His health businesses do over $60 million a year. And then you had Jane, and this was just this panel alone is worth it. Okay, so it's crazy value, right? So you got to be saying like, well, Ed, why would you be giving away this training absolutely free? And the answer is it's a blatant bribe. Okay, so here's what's going on. The next upcoming event that I have for Traffic Mastery event is in Chicago on July 25th and 26th, and the doors are not open yet at the normal tuition of $5,000. There's literally only 50 spots in the room. And most of those will be taken up by my platinum members. One thing I want to tell you is that I'm not selling these recordings. So if you want the Atlanta event, I'm testing an experiment right now. You're listening and watching this experiment in real time where you can receive a one-time early bird special offer and get reduced pricing for being a first mover. Plus, you will receive the recordings of Traffic Mastery Live Atlanta immediately. So you actually, if you sign up today, you're going to get this immediately. You'll have access to watch all that footage, get everything that I just talked about today. And plus, over the next few weeks, I'm going to be adding speakers. And we're booking rooms and we're doing all those things. So by doing an early bird special, it helps me out a lot to see who's coming. We could book the room, and if I can lock in my spots, it really helps. Okay. But this will sell out. So here are the details. July 25th, 26th in Chicago. It's really just 2 days filled with unparalleled traffic, and more traffic for generating customers to your online business. We will have a couple experts on e-commerce and on conversion rate optimization, which I'll be letting you know more about very shortly. So what is the investment? Well, the investment is $5,000, right? It's not cheap, I know. But then again, you don't want cheap if you're looking for success and the results that we keep talking about here. But for this little group, and I'll tell you how many spots are available, I'm going to slash that off, and I'm going to, if you're one of the first 20, that's it, 20 who register, or before June 15th. So if 20 spots are up, this early bird special is gone. Or if June 15th comes, then that will expire it as well. I'll knock off an extra $1,500. Okay, so we'll subtract $1,500, making your investment just $3,500, saving you $1,500. Okay, you can break it up into 2 easy payments of $1,750, or you can pay in full today and save even an extra $5,000 or no $500. I'm sorry, making your investment just $3,000. So the one promise I have is if you're an action taker, I mean, I'm not even joking on this. You can take what you're learning from the Atlanta recordings, which you get access to immediately. And if you're actually somebody who does what the advice that these guys gave to optimize campaigns, to scale campaigns, to make sales, you can literally make that back pretty much immediately with what you'll learn from. And, just kind of give you one quick tip. The examples I showed earlier about how we scaled very rapidly, we went over those. And I took some of what James Van Alswick shared with us, what Nick Shackelford shared with us, who also spoke at the event, who scaled, spent like 1.3 million, made like over 4 million. So this is the kind of stuff you're going to be learning. This is not, a joke. And even if you're learning and you're a beginner, these fundamentals is what's going to carry you to the next level. So if you're wondering if you should do this, really it's going to be up to you. But here's the deal: like, this is the shortcut like my secret to life and success has always been find who's doing the best in certain categories, and traffic and conversion and optimization of that client lifecycle is literally your most important core process that you must master if you plan on having success, right? So this is your shortcut, your leapfrog to the top opportunity, or your lifeboat if you aren't getting customers. And one thing I want to let you know is there are literally no refunds. The value here speaks for itself. These guys are amazing. I don't want looky-loos or people that are just trying, like, sort of putting their toe in the water to hope to get results. This value is going to blow you away. It blew me away, and I was the facilitator of the entire event. So it's 100% your responsibility to crush it. It's my responsibility to bring the best speakers in the world and to create action-packed information, okay? So like I said, there's only 20 spots that are open to the public, okay? So if you're a platinum member, you get it absolutely free. You already have a spot reserved. And this is going out to my entire list of 3,500 book purchasers in the past. Plus, we're generating traffic on Facebook starting literally today, as well as it's going to be promoted to all my Facebook audiences. So you have two choices. You could either go out and try and save money, which $3,000 is kind of ridiculously low for the value that I'm giving you, and do everything on your own. Or choice number two is invest in these two events and be literally given the exact processes that took many of us, it combined decades to figure out, and millions of dollars of investment. So what to do now? That's pretty much it. I mean, we're going to hit this pretty hard. Enroll today and reserve your seat to rub shoulders, learn from, and network with these amazing entrepreneurs. I really, for your sake, hope you take advantage of this rare opportunity. Like one question we always get is like, well, Ed, I don't know if this is going to work for me. And I just got to tell you, like, this works. The systems work. If you're willing to put yourself in an environment with all these amazing multi-8-figure entrepreneurs who are buying traffic, who are making sales on a daily basis, who are scaling campaigns, who are on Amazon, who are off Amazon. I mean, you're going to, we even have some in retail. So they use their online side to help drive them over to the retail side, and starting online with e-commerce and learning how to sell things through knowing how to drive traffic and knowing how to customize your ads so that you're sending the best buyer intent customers is like literally the secret sauce, guys. One other thing that I want to share with you is, like, sometimes people go, like, a lot of attendees, after they come to these events, they'll say, like, oh, you know what? I'm going to hire someone to drive the traffic. Well, that's smart because you're a CEO. You should be you should not be the one sitting in every Facebook account unless that's your specific skill set, or YouTube account, or native advertising, or doing email, because all those traffic channels work. But the mistake I see a lot of CEOs make is they think, oh, well, it's not my core skill set, so I'm not going to learn about it. Let me tell you this. I don't run our Facebook ads, but I'll tell you one thing. I know exactly what's going on with our ads in order to get converting traffic to our offers. That is the secret sauce. And when you understand how networks work and you understand how media buyers that are pros need things to work, then you can orchestrate your whole business to support the ecosystem, which is your traffic channels. That's what we need to get customers. So anyhow, I'm rambling. If you want to take advantage of this early bird special, I'd love to have you on the inside. If not, that's cool too. And either way, we are going to have an amazing event. And that's it. Is that okay? Thanks for listening and watching this video, and I will see you on the other side. Bye.